In this video I would like to explain about life cycle phases. Okay, so previously we are using different life cycle phases description. By using this we can't give a better economics, but now we use this type of life cycle phases, we can achieve a better economics and higher returns of investment. Okay, so that's why we move to this type of life cycle. Okay, so now we discussed what are the stages and what are the different life cycles here. Okay, so mainly there are two stages of life cycles, those stage and another is production stage. Okay, so engineering stage is a less predictable but smaller teams doing design and synthesis activities. Production stage is a more predictable but larger teams doing construction and testing and deployment activities. Okay, so engineering stage is a less predictable and smaller teams here doing the design and synthesis activities, but in the production stage here more predictable, here larger teams doing construction, testing and development activities. Okay, so these are the two stages of life cycle. Okay, so the below table will describes the life cycle as aspect and engineering stage emphasis and production stage emphasis. So here the life cycle accept, the first accept is risk reduction. So in the risk reduction in the engineering stage we face into schedule, technical feasibility. In the production stage cost. So another life cycle aspect is products. So here we give the architecture baseline. In the production stage product release baseline. Okay, in the another activity is activities. Okay, here activities are analysis, design, planning. In the production stage the activities are implementation and testing. So another aspect is assessment. So here the engineering stage the assessments are demonstration, inspection and analysis. So in the production stage the assessment are testing. Okay, so another aspect is economics. So here the economics is in the engineering stage diseconomy of scale. In the production stage exploring economics of scale. So in the management aspect here we decide the planning. Here in the production stage we decide the total operations. Okay, the table will describe the different aspects and what is the engineering stage emphasis and what is the production stage emphasis. So now we discussed in the what are the engineering stages phases and what are the production stage phases. Okay, so now again the engineering stage is decomposed into two different phases. One is inspection and another is elaboration. Okay, so and another production stage is decomposed into two phases, that is construction phase and transition phase. So finally there are four phases. Those four phases are is show the below diagram. So engineering stage is divided into two stages. One is inspection and elaboration. In the production stage is divided into two phases, construction and transition. Okay, so these are the four phases. So these phases are inception, elaboration, construction and transition. Okay, so the main goal of the inception is, so here we will give the idea of the project. Okay, so in the elaboration phase we will give the total architecture of the project. In the construction stage we release the beta releases of the product. So in the transition phase, so this is final delivery of the project. So these are the four different phases we designing the project. Okay, so now we will discuss one by one each phase so in detail. Okay, so first we go for the inception phase. So the main idea, the main goal of the inception phase is generate the idea of the our program. Okay, so here for each and every phase we discussed three things. Those are, one is primary objectives and another one is essential activities and another one is primary evaluation criteria. Okay, so here first we discussed the primary objective for the inception phase. So the primary objectives are, one is establishing a project software scope and boundary conditions. So here the first primary objective is establishing the project software scope and boundary conditions, and second one is decrementing the critical use cases of the system. Okay, and third one is demonstrating at least one candidate architecture against some of the primary scenarios, and fourth one is estimating cost and schedule for the entire project, and fifth one is estimating potential risk. So these are the different primary objectives, okay, of the inception phase. So again I will discuss primary objectives. So here first, scope and boundary conditions of the project. So second one is we can identify the critical use cases, and third one is we can demonstrate at least one candidate architecture, okay, and fourth one is what is the cost and schedule of the entire project, okay, we are estimating the cost and schedule, and fifth one is estimating the risk. So these are the some primary objectives of the inception phase, okay. And coming to the essential activities, so essential activities are formulating the scope of the project, okay, formulating the scope of the project, and second one is synthesizing the architecture, and third one is planning and preparing the business case. So these are the essential activities for the inception phase. So that is formulating the scope of the project. So here we can mention the what is the scope and what is the project, so what are the operations required in the project, so all these one described here. So in the second one is synthesizing the architecture. So there are different problem spaces and there are different solutions are there. So out of these different solutions we can decide one architecture, okay. So and third one is so planning and preparing the business case. So here we prepare the what is the cost of the project and what are the schedule and how many peoples are required to done this project and what are the plans. So these are all different plans we are estimating here in the inception phase, okay. And next one is primary evaluation criteria. So in the primary evaluation criteria we described all questions, okay. So these questions are raised: do all stakeholders concurrent on the scope definition and cost and schedule estimates, okay. So this is the question is, so all stakeholders agree to the scope, cost, schedule, estimation or not, okay. Second evaluation criteria is requirements are understand or not, and third question is, are the cost and schedule estimates, priorities, risk and development process creditable or not, okay. So and fourth one is, so do the depth and breadth of the architecture prototype, okay. And fifth one is, are actual resource expenditure versus planned resource expenditure acceptable or not, okay. These are the some questions of inception phase.